Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to Own Your Image, Effortless Style, Branding, and Extraordinary Confidence. I'm Deshante.
I'm Kanae.
And today we have with us a really special friend, Monaé Everett. Monaé is a celebrity hairstylist. She's an author, a diversity advocate, a public speaker with almost 2 decades of experience. She is a powerhouse. We're super excited to have you with us here today, Monaé. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me. I just can't wait for this.
Yes, we're so excited to have you. Let's just go ahead and dive right into the questions. Obviously, we're in a very different time right now, so we want to know how your quarantine life has been.
Well, I'm an introvert, so it has not been as hard for me as many others, but it has been a few months and, it's getting trying. I feel like I've developed new habits. I've started painting. I cook a whole lot. My clothes are reminding me how much I'm cooking now. But I'm really taking this time to let this setback set me up for success. I'm doing a lot of online education, a lot of Zoom meetings and calls, and going out of my way to stay in touch and reconnect.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, love that. So tell us a little bit about your brand. And
my brand as a celebrity hairstylist, I've been honing for almost 20 years. I'm really fortunate. I've worked with a lot of your faves like Merle Dandruff and Lynn Whitfield from Greene, Tia Mowry, Sonequa Martin Greene from Star Trek. And, I just dreamed of being able to work with household names and people you see on TV and movies. And it has really been a lot of hard work, but wonderful. And along the way, I learned a lot of things about the unspoken truths of the entertainment and beauty industry, which has allowed me to pivot into public speaking about diversity and inclusion. I don't see enough people who look like me behind the scenes, and I'd like to change that. I'd like to make our entertainers more comfortable behind the scenes. Everyone is breaking barriers by saying, we need more diversity. It's crazy that in, 2019 and 2020, we're still saying the first Black person for this or the first woman to do that. Like, it's crazy, and people only think about the outside layer, but you need people behind the scenes who are able to do their jobs to prop up the person who's in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a celebrity hairstylist, how you started? And
yes.
Oh, which story do you want? There's so many. I thought I would only do school and do hair and makeup in college because I heard all of those stories about broke college students, and I just didn't think they were funny. So I did cosmetology my senior year in high school, freshman year in college, with the full expectation of being done my senior year in college. But, I really loved it. I worked in communications at the radio station and things of that nature in college, and that wasn't what people thought it was either, but another story for another time. So I decided to stay and work. The first thing I decided to do was give it all up and be a celebrity hairstylist in Northern Virginia with no clients. So let me tell you, that did not work. So no, I was shopping out of my mama's fridge every Sunday because I had no skills. I didn't know how to market myself. I didn't know who to market myself to. My skill level in actually hairstyling certainly was not high enough for what it needed to be. So then I circled back, started working in salons, taking a lot of education, becoming an educator, and doing photo shoots on the side. And then I officially transitioned to basically all celebrity probably about 10 years ago.
Okay. That's amazing. The celebrity world is just, it's a whole different new world for a lot of people. So that's amazing that you stepped into that.
Yeah, it's a world of smoke and mirrors more than anything. It's a world that's there but doesn't really exist because the rules change every microsecond. So learning how the business and the etiquette and the networking are, you know, the skills you need before whatever the skill is you decide to do. And I talk a lot about that in my classes. People think it's just about styling hair. And I'm like, oh, honey, you're expected to be a great hairstylist, but you better have that other stuff.
Yes. And speaking of the other stuff, and as you were, you know, building your brand, and you spoke on how the celebrity world is a lot of smoke and mirrors, how did you take your morals and your values into building your brand, especially when the industry can be a bit fickle?
That is a wonderful question. And it's just something that you just do. It's something that when you're in the middle of a moral challenging situation, that you have to decide what to do at that moment. For me, my morals are unshakable, and I have a moral ground that may be, you know, a little higher than many people I've met. So that means some opportunities have come and gone without me. That means some opportunities I may have sacrificed myself because I simply could not do what was, and I want to not say requested, because no one ever straight up asks you to break your morals. They kind of allude to it and things of that nature, and you get slow walked into it. Because if you were asked straightforward into it, you would say no. Like I told a story about a very well-known celebrity. My first time working with her, I got there a bit early, and she just fell apart in my arms. And I never met her. She was like, oh, well, come upstairs. And she was telling me about a really bad situation with her boyfriend. And it was very clear he was abusing her. And I just asked her some questions about it and let her come to her own conclusion about that. So I followed her, and, you know, she left the relationship, which is great. But in my opinion, she never booked me again, because who wants to relive that? Who wants to have someone reminding you of one of the worst days of your life? But my moral code said, I know what I'm seeing. I know what I'm hearing. I have to address it. And I was very aware that there was a big chance that I might not get booked again.
Yeah. That's, wow. That's a pretty powerful story, going into the celebrity world and having to choose what to say and when to say it and how to say it, and just in life, how, I guess for our audience, how would you, and I know you teach on this too, how do you kind of teach other entrepreneurs, other hairstylists, other people that are pursuing a career in speaking and whatnot, how to stand in their morals for their brand? Like,
well, you first have to identify those morals. In the hairstyling realm, I speak more about what do you want to be known for, and I speak more about building your brand, as in learning how to actually style hair to a high and proficient level, learning how to market yourself in a way that you'll be proud of years to come, learning etiquette, so how to maneuver in a room, how to be, you know, a dove in a room full of sharks. So I do a lot of that, and it seems as though whatever level people think they're on, so say you're focusing on that level 7, generally they don't have level 1 through 6 solid.
That's good.
So I focus on those building blocks and learning different things and learning different ways of doing different things and how to handle things. I always joke and say, y'all don't hate me for this, creatives are crazy. And I consider myself a creative. So learning how to maneuver, and when you're on set, you have a makeup artist, a hairstylist, a wardrobe stylist, a photographer, a model, on, and everybody is speaking a different language.
Yes.
So teaching how to understand this foreign language and being able to communicate back your end. Yeah, there's a lot. In terms of public speaking, I don't teach public speaking, but I do a lot of public speaking. Like I've had a financial institution bring me in to discuss diversity and inclusion. People don't realize how prejudiced they can be to people in regards to certain hairstyles or any other thing that they simply don't understand about people who don't look and sound like them.
So good. You hit a lot of things there. So moving into, I guess, more about your brand and how you built it. How did you find the confidence to step out and be so bold to create a brand that was inclusive of being a celebrity hairstylist and then going a bit further and teaching? How did you step into that confidence?
You know, I fell into that. It took me probably longer to build the confidence to put myself out there as a celebrity hairstylist. And I think that so many people were so bold to stand in my face and tell me I absolutely could not do it, that it made me want to step up, because it started feeling like, well, not only why do you think I can't do it, but what makes you so bold to tell me this could not happen? And then I started thinking, what are you trying to keep me from?
That's good.
So I learned the hard way that I was not in the big city in Northern Virginia. You know, I really thought the DC area, shout out to my DMV folks, I really thought I was in a major city, and I learned the very hard way that it's not as major in the beauty and fashion game as I would have liked to have believed. So when I came to New York, I just said, if I move to New York, I can't move to New York and, in my opinion, just go work in a salon. I need to move to New York and kick down some doors and find out what this thing is all the way about. And once I got here, I learned there are so few people at the levels I aspired to be, and that looked similar to me, that might be why everybody was telling me I couldn't do it, because they'd never seen it. And I said, okay, well, if my example didn't exist when I first looked for it, how about I become an example for others?
Yes,
that's good.
That's
really good. Stepping into your purpose.
Yes.
Purpose. I love that. How with you working in diversity and not seeing people like yourself, how would you say your personal image affected that, like who you are as a person, how you carried yourself and walking into those rooms?
It's very funny. I tell stories, like I've had natural hair for 20 years, and I probably didn't really wear my hair natural to a place where people could identify it like a curly ponytail or something like that until like the last 4 or 5 years. And it's very funny, when I would switch up my hairstyle, or like if my hair was straight, people would say negative things to me about people with natural hair. Because the assumption was, you know, I was so relaxed, or thank God you don't have to deal with that natural hair over there. And I'm like, I'm a hairstylist. You should not claim yourself to be a hairstylist if you can't style all hair textures. Or when I started wearing my hair recognizably natural, they would say, oh, you only do natural hair now. You don't want to deal with that straight hair. And I'm like, why would you think that? Or great, I'm so happy you're here. Let me go get you the black girls. Well, I can style anybody in here to perfection. I know, but I thought you might feel more comfortable. Well, why would you even think that? And yeah, I got a lot of really awkward smiles back. I just didn't realize I was asking questions that were as challenging or as you know, requiring these individuals to look into themselves, as introspective as that, because it got to a point where I'm like, I really want to know why you would say to the hairstylist,
right,
I thought you would be more comfortable with doing this. And then I realized there's a lot of hairstylists who are behind the scenes who only style hair of people similar to their own.
Yeah.
So people accommodate.
Yes. We've seen that as wardrobe stylists, you know, working behind the scenes. It is definitely what is the word I'm looking for? There is a lack of representation behind the scenes, like you said earlier, especially when it comes to black women and men. I just want, that's frank. It's like it's not there. So we are very thankful that you are walking in your purpose. That's amazing.
And I want to be clear, I don't like that there's a lack of us visibly there. That is one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is, if you are a hairstylist, what you look like should not have anything to do with your skill. You should be able to style every hair texture. So it's a twofold thing.
Wow.
We should be represented because we exist, but also a Black actress should be able to sit down in the chair of anyone and get her hair slayed.
Yes, that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good to know. So we talked a little bit about your branding. We talked a little bit about, you know, how you got started. We want to move a little bit into fashion and ask, do you connect with the message when you look better, you feel better?
Oh, absolutely, 150%, because it's really hard to feel good when you don't like what you see in the mirror.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And is this something, I know that you're an educator, how do you teach this to your students and how they show up, you know, on set and set etiquette and their appearance, how, or just in general, how do you teach that?
You know, so much of what I teach is very, very touchy, that many times when I teach it, I get a lot of blank expressions because they don't like what I'm saying. But I get a lot of emails and DMs later saying you were right. If I teach something like, you may not want to wear something low cut and super short, it's multiple reasons. If I am working with a celebrity in her hotel room and her husband is there, she's not going to like your goodies everywhere. But that is the shallow reason. Let's talk some other reasons. Other reasons might be you don't need a curling iron to fall on your thigh. We're in tight spaces quite often, or your toes out and crush your toes. Or if we get to this celebrity's house, many of them live up many flights of stairs.
Yes.
With no elevator. If you got to carry all of that stuff up there, what precarious situation are you in going up the steps and you can see everything, or bending over to pick up something and you show more than intended? You need to always look neat, but have your goodies covered. Listen, the goodies you got will always be there, and anybody trying to see them will notice, but they don't need to be fully exposed, okay?
Yeah.
So I've had many a lady get upset with me about that. Or what if something spills on your brand new $500 shoes? You're not going to be happy. You need to show up. You need to look comfortable. You need to look clean. You need to smell good and dress in layers for different temperatures. All the rest of this, looking like you're trying to compete for the center of attention, it's never going to work. Let me tell you, those celebrities have paid the cost to be the boss, and if they're paying for you being there, they don't want to in any way think somebody else might be stalking and chicken hawking you. Is it shallow? Yes. But when you're paying someone to perform a service, that's what you're paying for.
Right. There's a lot of nuggets there. There's a time and a place for how you dressing appropriately for the situation where you're going. And there was a second nugget I wanted to touch on. It just blew my mind for a second.
Sorry, I'm long-winded.
You touched on a second point, and I'm like, what was it? I think it was about the service. You're there to do a service. So you want to make sure that, you know, that you're in the right mind state of being there to serve. And I think that sometimes we don't think about that. We're in the service business when you're a stylist or hairstylist or just really anything. You're in the service business. We're here to serve our customers and clients, and just we need to take the right attitude with us so that we're able to communicate effectively with the client and just do our job well. So
absolutely. And when you get hurt, the show does not stop, and that's the saddest part. Right. So please do all you can to practice safety. This is PPE aside. This is before all of the quarantine and stuff. Do everything you can. You know, cords are around, people's kids are messing around with different things. It's not worth it.
No, it's not.
These are great tips for anybody that is listening in our audience right now. If you're seeking to be a hairstylist or a celebrity hairstylist, these are phenomenal tips. I think
even working on set at
Yeah,
all. These are great
yeah.
tips for that, because you for all of that.
Because I know when I first started in the fashion industry and getting on set, I wish that I had somebody, it was more like just learning as I go and like trying to figure out what was proper and what wasn't. And so these are great tips.
Yeah, and the hardest part of learning how you go is a lot of times you learn the lesson in terms of guessing why you weren't asked back.
Yes.
And that can be really hurtful to your self-esteem and ego.
Yes.
You simply didn't know.
Yeah. But you know what's also great about that? I actually was watching a sermon earlier from Sarah Jakes, and she said, your mistakes and your failures are not hindering you. They're pushing you forward. So I think understanding that, we're even though we had to learn the hard way, as they say, it helped to push us forward and become better at whatever it is that we're trying to do.
Right. Because you had to learn in that process of making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of learning and making mistakes, a little bit back to the confidence bit. Can you recall, which I'm sure you can, but if you can share with us a point in time in your career as you were building where you had to overcome a certain situation, and how did you push through?
I could think of so many. I'll say one. Okay, so there was a girl who lived in the same area I did, and we were up for a lot of jobs together. And I had a model come to me and say, hey, X, Y, and Z is always talking about you. That's petty, like who would care?
Right.
I was surprised because I thought she and I were friends, clearly not. I remember coming to New York, scheduling a trip to New York with 3 agencies, and all 3 of them told me to come in and show my work. They were really excited to see me, and all 3 of them were far less than receptive when I got there, and I could not understand why. And I saw her card on all 3 of their desks. And I'm saying, this is too much. Like, it's not possible. A major photographer in the area called me and talked to me for about 2 hours and said not only was this girl blackballing me, she was sending out email campaigns about me. And the only reason he came forward is because she and I had taken a class together, and he was there. He was in charge of editing the work. So he could see that our level was not the same. And he felt I needed to know. I barely worked for probably 4 months because of her campaign against me, until people started seeing that her skills lacked. So this is why she was coming after me. But your bills still have to be paid. You still have to continue on. It was difficult for me. I just could not believe not only that someone would do that, but that other people, other professionals would believe it. But it's just easy. I ended up signing with one of those agencies later, and they told me, oh yeah, she came up here, she said a whole lot. Her career is nowhere near what she'd like it to be, and certainly she has not had the achievements I have, and I just feel sorry for her and say she must have felt she couldn't get there. So hopefully she'll find something that works for her. But yeah, that was definitely trying. I just could not believe that someone could get in the way of my livelihood so easily. So it definitely took a lot of reassessing, and definitely made me humble. I had to take a lot of jobs that I would not have wanted to take. I had to do a lot of assisting. I had to take the overflow jobs from other artists. There was like 2 artists in particular who really felt bad for me, and out of pity would give me the jobs that they couldn't take. But I still turned out all of those jobs to the point where I got repeat bookings. But yeah, it definitely gave me a new way of seeing things and a new way of understanding how this game works.
Yeah. How would you say it affected your confidence? Like, was there a...
Oh, it was a drop kick to the confidence. The ego when sat down somewhere else. The ego was like, girl, we don't know. You know, because as an adult woman, there's very little legally you can do. There, you know, having the conversation is not really going to go well and will probably lead to other issues. So just really waiting it out. Yeah, just really waiting it out, reassessing, taking a crap load more class. My go-to whenever things are bad, whenever my confidence takes a hit, is more education, because education can never be taken from you. And it's a new way of expanding and showing your skill set. I found the best way to network is through education, because people will see you take your craft seriously, and you'll be around other like-minded people who take their craft seriously. Most of the time, the educators are looking for people to staff bookings, events, and shows as well. It's just overall better for you. It's great to network on set, but the respect of your peers is vital. They're the ones who give you most of your referrals and bookings.
Yeah. And you know, what comes to mind when you spoke about that situation is Michelle Obama so eloquently put, when they go low, we go high. And I think, you know, we all find ourselves in situations sometimes where people, for whatever rhyme, reason, or case, are hating on you, or they're dealing with their own insecurities and they start attacking you. And like you said, it could have gone a different situation had you, it could have turned out differently had you not taken control of the situation. You know, put your big girl pants on. Even though it was hard, you still push forward and you made yourself better. And I think that's a really great nugget for our audience to know that there will be times where you're hit hard and low. So you gotta take the bigger way out 90% of the time and just keep focused and keep pushing on you.
Absolutely.
So thank you for
thank you for sharing that. We can relate.
Yes.
Well, just speaking of that, excuse me. Speaking of that, once you came out of that and you were able to overcome and get back to work, how did you proceed forward? Like, how did your confidence and the education you got, how did that affect you moving forward and help you with your relationships?
Yeah.
And let me know the depths of people's desperation and what to look out for, maybe not to get so involved in them personally and what they will or won't do, and just really, really push myself forward in ways that I was uncomfortable. I might have to really go up to a decision maker and tell them exactly what I can do. I may have to really email them and list out my credits rather than expecting that they're going to go to my website and look. You know, no one's really going to take any amount, you can't assume anyone's going to take nugget of extra time on you. You have to present everything to everyone in a very clear way, and present yourself in a way that they understand you will make their job better and easier.
That's really, really
that's
good.
really good. That's great. That's great branding advice, you know.
Yeah.
Because when you're building a brand and when you're offering a service or any business, you are there to make the client's or the customer's life easier. Whatever you're presenting or trying to sell to them or trying to give to them, you want it to make their lives easier. So that's a good nugget right there, audience. Write that down.
Lots of nuggets here, Monaé. Yes. Wow, you've really touched on so many things: branding, image, confidence, perseverance. Just to tie everything back together, we'll ask you our final question. What does it mean to you to own your image?
Well, it means taking control. To own your image means taking control to the best of your ability of how others perceive you, because perception is reality. So that means you want to avoid sticky situations, because who knows how things will stick later. That means you want to, above all else, be known for doing your job exceptionally well. and avoiding drama in multiple different ways, whether that's always being late with a story or always being in the middle getting a tea, or just anything. So you really just want to take the lead.
Take the lead.
Love that. Take the lead.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you so much. You've shared all of this with us, and I know that you have a special gift for our guests.
Yes.
I do. At my website, themonaelife.com, Monae is Monae, I have courses for those who want to become editorial hairstylists or learn how to style to photographic perfection, as well as tons of free resources. But the classes are really where it's at, and I'm offering classes 50% off right now. Head on over and check them out. Once you complete a class, you are also entered into my private Facebook group where you can ask questions and really get help on anything that you have questions about, and network with other like-minded people within the industry.
Amazing. That's such a generous gift. Thank you
Yes.
so much for offering that to our audience. If there's anybody out there trying to become a hairstylist in the celebrity world, Monaé is your girl. How can we stay connected with you via social media?
Monaé Artistry on YouTube and Instagram. And if you're a hairstylist and maybe you're not trying to style celebrities, but you want to be known as a celebrity or high-end stylist in your city, still check out the classes. Put yourself a step above of your competition by making your clients feel like celebrities.
That's good.
That's really good.
Really good.
Yeah. So keep up with me at Monaé Artistry on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube, I have like 200 videos, almost 4 million views. I'm giving away a lot of information. In order for me to see a change, I got to be the change. So y'all can't say there was no one out here to answer your questions and help you.
Amazing.
Yes, amazing. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Monaé. We've learned so much from you today, and we're happy to have you here.
Okay, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll see you on the next Own Your Image. Thank you.
Bye-bye.